Well, Wall Street has faced the ire of protesters across the country for the past couple of months. Members of the movement are calling out the Wall Street fat cats for contributing to the economic decline by being greedy and corrupt. They're also angry that the same people seemingly get rewarded with big bonuses. And while the movement has brought some attention to the issue of income inequality and corporate corruption, there may be much more Wall Street doesn't want you to know about. One columnist has divulged 6 shocking revelations about Wall Street's secret government. Let's take a quick look at them. The big banks and hedge funds were in much more trouble than we were led to believe. Number 2, Wall Street's secret government made sure the largest banks would grow even larger, aided by secret funding. Number 3, the bigger Wall Street becomes, the more government it can buy. And next, the Wall Street secret government protects its own. And Wall Street is a clear and present danger to democracy. Number 6, Occupy Wall Street is fundamentally correct, but we need more. The man that's helping bring this all to light is here now to talk more about it, economist and author Les Leopold. He joins us now from Montclair, New Jersey. Welcome, Les. So you say that Wall Street and Washington are running this secret government. How are they doing this?
Well, the fundamental way that it's done is through a revolving door where the top Wall Street executives become the head of the Treasury. And at the height of the crisis, unbeknownst to anybody in Congress, the secret government provided Wall Street with $7.77 trillion of loans. Meanwhile, we were told the TARP program of $700 billion was all there was to it. And those people who were trying to regulate the banks, who were considering legislation to go back to Glass-Steagall, to break up the large banks, those people were not told, those congressional leaders were not told of the incredibly bad condition that the Wall Street banks were in and of these secret loans.
And so the banks, you also say that the banks, they were getting in bigger trouble than the public knew about. What do you mean by that?
Well, without this $7.77 trillion of money, they would have been toast. They would have been on the verge of bankruptcy or bankrupt, and the case for breaking them up and reorganizing our banking system would have been much greater. Instead, the desire to create stability was first and foremost, which meant financing. We actually financed the large banks to grow even larger. While we were complaining about too big to fail, we made them bigger. And it was done secretly. That's the bad part, because it means that our democratic processes are being subverted, even from our congressional leaders.
So this is all happening with public taxpayer money, and this is all happening, you say, secretly, so Congress doesn't even know about it. Who does know about it?
Well, it's a very small cabal. It would be the Treasury Secretary, the head of the Federal Reserve, and the top bankers. The congressmen, there was serious discussion about breaking up the large banks. After all, they had caused this crash. It wasn't, consumers getting fat on loans. It was the gambling spree that Wall Street went on, and these banks were in serious trouble. So the idea of breaking them up and reinstituting Glass-Steagall, separating commercial banking from investment banking, was on the agenda, was being discussed. Now, if those congressmen knew that that these secret loans were being given out, then they might have acted more forcefully. Instead, they were told, oh no, these banks are fine. We need them to compete in the world economy. They produce jobs, blah, blah, blah.
And you also say that Wall Street, the secret government, they serve to protect themselves rather than the public. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, this is an unbelievable story. Hank Paulson, who was Treasury Secretary under Bush, was about to nationalize Fannie and Freddie, take them over because they were in such bad shape. When in doing so, it would wipe out the shareholder value of those companies. Meanwhile, he was telling Congress and the public that it was going to take some minor fixes and some audits and everything would be okay. But he secretly met with a room full of hedge fund managers who had a lot to gain from this information. He gave them this information before he told Congress and before he told the public. Now, we don't know for sure whether or not these hedge funds then shorted the stock or got out of Freddie and Fannie, but they might have. But what is he doing meeting with top hedge fund people and not meeting with congressional leaders, not telling the public? And that's absolutely outrageous.
Is it legal for this to go down to add?
I'm afraid it is. I'm afraid it is because A, our laws are so porous about this, and B, Hank Paulson didn't actually make any money on it, so he's not really committing insider trading. Now, it's unclear whether or not a law was broken if other people acted on that information. Probably not. But what's being broken is democracy. You can't have the Treasury Secretary give tips to his old buddies from Goldman Sachs who now ran these hedge funds. That is absolutely outrageous. And I'm surprised, if that word got out, there might be more Occupy Wall Street demonstrations because it's just simply outrageous for that to happen.
And as you said, this Wall Street is a danger to democracy. And you say that Occupy Wall Street is fundamentally correct, and they're on the right track, but we need more. What else needs to happen? Well,
we need places for the rest of us to express our outrage. People like me are not going to sleep on the concrete. It's just not going to happen. People with families are not going to, and jobs and whatnot, are not going to participate at that level. So how do we participate? How do we show our democratic outrage? It's not enough to just go to the ballot box because we know that both parties are very much beholden to Wall Street. Whether it was a Democrat with Robert Rubin from Citigroup as Treasury Secretary or Hank Paulson from Goldman Sachs, it doesn't really matter. So we need to be able to express ourselves. What I'd like to see happen, actually, would be for all kinds of people to set up their own 99% clubs to help dramatize and to come up with our own ways of protesting about these issues.
Les, thank you so much for sharing all this with us. And that was economist and author Les Leopold.